Oh my goodness. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out today's broadcast. It is day 340 of my 3-year challenge to lose 300 pounds. If this is your first time checking out my broadcast, a little bit about me. My name's Jonathan. I'm 39 years old and I have been overweight my whole life. And I decided last year that I really needed to do something about it and I needed to take it very serious, and that's why I started this challenge. The two biggest things that that I really wanted to accomplish with this challenge is that I wanted to stick to something for 3 years, or to hold myself accountable for 3 years, because in the past I've lost weight and a lot of times I just kind of eventually fizzle out, or I feel like I've accomplished what I wanted to accomplish or what I could accomplish from the diet, and I end up letting my old habits start to come back, and a lot of times the habits are even worse than they were before. And so over time I eventually gain all the weight that I had lost back. And so that's why I wanted to commit to doing this for 3 years. The other big part of this is that I wanted to lose more weight than I've ever lost before, and to get down to a healthier weight than I have ever been at. A lot of times I'll start a diet with the intention of losing 50 pounds or seeing how much weight I can lose until, this wedding that's coming up or this event that's coming up. And then I either hit those small goals or that event happens. And while I feel great and there's a lot of accomplishment that comes with reaching those goals or losing that weight, I'm still in a position where I'm overweight and I'm not at a healthy weight yet. And so that's why I wanted to commit to doing this and getting down to under 220 pounds. And I started right at 520. So that's why I decided that I set my goal at a 300-pound loss. I've had great success so far. I started off this whole thing with an extended fast that I lost a lot of weight on that. And then I switched to a whole food plant-based diet. I've been eating a whole food plant-based diet since December 12th of 2020. And it has been everything I was looking for in previous diets. And I am extremely happy with my success so far. At my last weigh in, I was 315.2 pounds. So that means I've lost a total of 204.6 pounds since I started this. And if you'd have told me I'd be 200 pounds lighter 11 months ago, I wouldn't have believed you. But if anybody has any non-scale victories they'd like to share, or anything they have any questions about, feel free to ask them at any point, whether you're watching this live or you're watching the replay. And I hope everybody had a good evening since yesterday. It was pretty boring for me. Carrie was running around all afternoon after from the time I actually started the stream until pretty late. Carrie was active with taking the kids to Cub Scout things and then soccer practice. And it worked out well for me that I was able to just kind of relax at home for a little bit. Anthony's checking in saying, hey, Anthony, I hope everything's going good for you today. So I ended up just kind of snacking at home. We have some mangoes and cashews, and as long as we have those, I'm pretty satisfied. I did stop on the way home, picked up some Ezekiel bread because Carrie was able to get the mango pico de gallo that I really like, and we're just waiting for some avocados to ripen, and we will be having some of that. But I just kind of snacked. Like I said, mangoes or dehydrated mangoes, the cashews are also something that, I'll eat a handful of those. And I think I even had a bowl of shredded wheat with raisins. I really enjoy the shredded wheat with raisins with some West soy yeah, it's West soy milk. And it's, you know, the raisins add a little bit of sweetness to it. I kind of try to make sure I do get a mix of shredded wheat with raisins in every bite. It's kind of disappointing when there is no raisins, but it can be a little bit too much if you don't get the ratio just right. You have to play with it, you know. Uh but I do enjoy some shredded wheat, very simple thing to eat. And then when Carrie came home, she knocked out a salad that was awesome. Again, a year ago, I would not have expected that I would be sitting in front of a camera saying that I had a salad that was full of spinach and it was very enjoyable. We've been using the new mustard that Carrie got, and so the seasoning does, or the dressing does, taste a little bit different, but it's very enjoyable. It's the weirdest thing for me when we eat these salads and they have this mustard dressing on them, that I get like flashbacks, or they uh kind of like these weird food memories or flavor memories, you know, or that it kind of, it almost makes the salad taste like it's different than what it is, you know, or at least mentally. It's kind of an odd thing. And yesterday there was this slaw that Carrie put in this, that it was like prepackaged, that it had carrot strips, broccoli strips, and red cabbage that she mixed into it. And we had not had the broccoli strips before, and they were really weird shaped that you wouldn't have guessed that they were broccoli unless somebody told, you know. I guess that I did notice the flavor. Like, I had asked Carrie, you know, what's different in this, because there was a different flavor. And the broccoli slaw was the difference in the flavor, and I couldn't pinpoint it, but like I said, that mix, that broccoli with the mustard mixture, just kind of gave this flavor like what I had before. Definitely the old dressing always reminded me of eating a hot dog, like a ballpark hot dog, just how strong the mustard flavor was. But it was a little bit different yesterday, still enjoyable, and really kind of a boring food night for us with that. And then today I had oatmeal this morning for breakfast with some Ezekiel bread with peanut butter, kind of a standard breakfast. I've been listening to the How Not to Die by How Not to Diet by Dr. Greger. And I only have like 7.5 hours left now. So I'm well over halfway. I'm almost 3/4 of the way through the book. But he talks about just a little bit about timing of food and food preferences, and the like that people are, you know, and I don't know all of the, I'm not going to be able to quote exactly what he said, and now that I'm thinking about it, it might not even have been from his book. I do so much watching videos and reading things, but that we are willing to have a more boring breakfast, or we don't get, you know, we don't need as much variety with our breakfast as we may crave with the meals later in the day. And I'm finding that I never would have thought that I could just have our oatmeal, which is oatmeal with bananas, apples, a cup of apple juice, 2 cups of water. It's like a full cup of oats. And then I think Carrie puts cinnamon in there and flaxseed, and I've talked about this before, but it's just a nice, consistent, always good breakfast. And I'm never sitting there wishing that I was having something different for breakfast. In fact, if we had something different for breakfast, I think that I would be wishing that we had that. It's just nice to know that it's an easy breakfast, and that it's not, we don't need that variety. You know, I used to go to a different fast food restaurant every morning so I could get different things for their breakfast. Speaking of food, for dinner, it looks like we're having baked falafels and tzatziki sauce tonight. So that sounds interesting. I don't know if we've had any of that before. Carrie's got the emoji faces like it might be a new thing, but I'm sure it'll be delicious and we will love it. But yeah, the overall food has, and then today at work, I ended up being crazy busy. I'm going to go over that a little bit. I have a lot going on the rest of this week. Tomorrow, we have an event that Carrie says it is definitely a new meal. We have a event tomorrow for our nonprofit that I've been working towards getting done for a while. And so I had kind of planned today to be the day that I kind of focus on getting everything done. And I'm going to get everything done, but I did have a little bit of a sidetrack, or I got kicked off course this morning. I had to do some light plumbing work because I am an amateur plumber, I suppose, when I need to be. But one of the faucets in our warehouse had been leaking. I needed to replace that faucet, and they use this PEX piping that is like this. If you've seen it in like new construction houses, or it's what they use for plumbing in houses, but it's like this blue plastic piping that has this metal collar on the end that you have to crimp down in order to tighten everything together. And I went to the hardware store to look for a replacement faucet. I had some photos with me, so I kind of knew I took some photos of what I was replacing. And the tool that you use to work on this, from what I could tell, was very expensive. And they had a bunch of options, but they were all like $40 plus for this tool. And I literally need the tool to do one crimp. And I, or it would have been one or two crimps that I would have needed it for. I would have needed it one time. And I'm looking at these tools and I'm like, if I buy this for $60, I'm just going to use it and then return it and say it didn't work. And I was like, that's kind of a crap thing to do. So I did check. I was at Home Depot and they rent the tool that I needed to do the crimping. And it might not have been, I don't know. I either didn't buy the right collar or the tool wasn't exactly the right tool, but I made it work. Unfortunately, before I was able to make it work, I tried to do some research to find out how to use it. And it is, if you know what like a bolt cutter is, like the thing itself is about the size of a small bolt cutter and almost has some of the same physics as far as the plier mechanism or the leverage mechanism to it. And so I was at my desk looking at it, and I used to have this really awesome floor mat underneath my desk here. Let me see. I gotta go over here. But I was looking at the tool and it ended up slipping out of my hands and it dropped and it hit my floor mat. And I had this cool glass floor mat. The only thing that sucked about it was a real pain to clean because I'd have to like get everything, I had to get everything out of the way, flip it up, and use like Windex to clean it. But it was this awesome glass that, I couldn't believe that it held my body at 500 pounds without having any issues with the chair. But it was a great floor mat, and I ended up dropping that tool on it, and it just shattered into a billion pieces. And it was just such like that happening just like derailed my day. Like I was like, no matter what else I have going on today, I got to deal with this floor mat, and it's going to take me forever to deal with. And I ended up grabbing a shop vac and just kind of picking away at it and slowly shop vacuuming it up and trying to go from one side of the office to the other. But it just continued to feel like the glass, just like I would do like a bunch of this area over here, and then I'd start moving this way, and then I'd turn around and there'd still be glass where I just vacuumed up. And I'm like, I don't even know how glass got back over there. Like, it was just everywhere. And this type of glass, it's actually not the first time we've had glass like that shatter on us. We had an experience on our honeymoon. We were staying at a really fancy hotel in Amsterdam, and they had these glass doors on the bathroom and the shower. And in the middle of the night, we all of a sudden just heard, I mean, and it was exactly the same sound as this made, but we just heard this loud bang noise, and then it sounded like it was like raining inside of our office, or I'm sorry, inside of the hotel room. It sounded like it was raining. And we didn't know what was going on. We didn't have the lights on or anything. We were able to turn the lights on, and there was glass over everything, all over our bags, all over our room. And it was this cool room that had, like I said, it was like this curved glass toilet and curved glass shower. I probably have a photo of it somewhere. I wouldn't be able to get it up soon, but anyways, this just kind of took all of those plans that I was going to get everything done earlier today and said, you know what, you're going to spend the next 2 hours dealing with this. So I ended up getting that cleaned up. I got actually I did the fix on the plumbing first because I had the tool rented for 4 hours. So I fixed the plumbing I needed to do. Like I said, the tool worked. I don't know that it was the right tool, or I bought the wrong collar. The Citizen M Hotel is where we were at in Amsterdam. Yeah, it's a chain hotel. If you looked up Citizen M Hotel, they probably have photos of their their chain and stuff like that in their rooms. But they're like it was like a, I don't know, it was by the airport, like a compact room thing, and it was cool. It was one of those, it was funny because when we called down and said what had happened, they were like, all right, well, we'll have one of our engineers up to deal with it. And we're like, wow, an engineer? That's crazy that they would call an engineer at like 2 a.m. And then we kind of found out that engineer might mean something a little bit different over there than it does here. But yeah, they ended up moving us to a different room. It worked out. But yeah, so I'm back onto the floor instead of my fancy floor mat. I am going to have to get something to replace it at some point. But just because the flooring I have down in here is like a vinyl and it has like a thickness to it. And I can, like when I go to move my chair or roll my chair around, I can feel like that it's smushing the mat down a little bit, or it's smushing that flooring a little bit. So I need to get some sort of floor mat down to help protect the flooring. I know that if I was 200 pounds heavier, that would have been even kind of like I'd be ruining the floor just rolling around on my chair if I was the weight that I used to be. And it would be much more important for me to get that replaced. If anyways, so yeah, that sidetracked my day, and then I've been busy with this, dealing with it, getting everything ready for tomorrow. It was funny that it just shows how inactive I end up being, is that my watch gives me kind of a step goal every day. And if if I hit a certain amount of steps, it kind of alerts me and says, hey, you hit your goal. Or if I walk up a certain flight of stairs, it says, hey, you hit your goal. And the goal is generally just like a little bit more than what your average is. And I don't know that it ever stops. Like, I think it just always is just, hey, you just got to go a little bit more than your average. And so, I hit the step goal. My step goal for today was like 4,600 steps, which means that I've really not been doing very many steps the last week or so. And I know I haven't been doing a lot of steps with the way work is and how busy I've been at my desk versus being up and moving around. But today I definitely got my movement in. I don't know if I said it, but I'm at 8,400 steps. So I've almost hit 10,000 for the day, which is way above my average. My average steps is very low overall for the day. I talked about, I've been listening to that book. I'm still enjoying what he's talking about. He's, a lot of, he's the part that I'm in of the book right now is going through a lot of kind of the tweaks or the little things you can do to kind of help boost results. So it's interesting listening to the book. Again, there's definitely parts of it where something he says or something going on causes me to daydream, and I kind of just let the book go and realized, like 30 seconds later I didn't listen to what he just said. And I sometimes I rewind it, but for the most part I've just kind of been playing it through. It's it's How Not to Diet is the title of the book by Dr. Greger. I had already listened to How Not to Die, and then the book I'm listening to now is How Not to Diet. It is, I can't imagine what it looks like as far as a text. Like, the book itself has got to be 1,000 pages because it's a 24-hour it's a 24-hour audiobook that is read by the author himself. But I don't know if it says this says it's 96 pages on whatever this thing is here. That is definitely not the case. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's giving me a lot of information from different, he does a great job at citing sources and showing how everything that he talks about is based off of clinical studies. There's a few times where he would say, there'll be like an anecdotal, or there'll be something that a study shows that there might be a minor benefit from doing this. And he'll kind of say, well, even if it's not exactly true, what's the harm in doing, if there's benefit in eating an extra half a cup of spinach, or if there's some benefit from eating that extra half cup of spinach that one study shows, but it might not be the best study or that have the most whatever scientific backing behind it. But at the end of it, it's like, well, if it's not going to hurt you to eat a half cup more spinach, so it can't hurt you to kind of hope that that's working, I guess. But he doesn't do that much, and most of the book is very supported by facts and evidence and science, and it's a good book. I'm enjoying it. I've been, it's just, I got so much else going on. I can't be on much longer today, because I have to deal with getting everything ready for this event that I have going on tomorrow. And unless everything lines up perfect and I'm able to get in here and go live tomorrow, but I don't see that. Yeah, the timing just won't happen that I'll be able to get in and go live by 4 tomorrow. So I'll be back live on Friday. Yeah, I'm really excited to do this event tomorrow, and I'll talk about it maybe more on Friday after we get it done. But it is something that our whole the whole nonprofit we have, there are a lot of things that we used to do or that we hadn't done, that now that we've lost this weight, that some of those things are easier to do or easier to get done. And I know that losing the weight is what helped facilitate me even get in a position that we can do this event tomorrow. Hoping for good weather. Yes, there is forecast for rain, which will put a damper on it, but rain or shine, we'll figure it out. I'm going to get out of here for today, though. I want to thank you guys for checking out my broadcast. Make sure that you do subscribe to my channel and also click on the bell icon so you can turn on notifications so you'll get alerted when I go live. Make sure that you do hit the thumbs up button on the video, hit the like button. Any interactions that you can do help grow this channel and get me in front of more people. And I would love to talk to as many people as possible and see if we can't help some people lose some weight. If you guys haven't started your diet yet, get started right now. There's no reason to wait. There's nobody that has successfully lost weight that at the end of it said, I'm so glad I waited that weekend. Everybody says, I wish I would have started sooner. So start now. Get things going. Even if you can't start eating the right way this second, start changing how you're going to do things in the future. Start planning, start working towards getting it going, but if you have the ability to start right now, clean out those cupboards, get the right foods in there, get the junk foods out, stop going and buying fast food. You don't need it. There's nothing good about that fast food. It's just killing us all. So tell somebody you're starting, that's a big thing. A lot of times I would be like, all right, today's the day. And 2 hours later, I'd be pulling up to the fast food line. Today's not the day. Tomorrow's the day. And I knew that at any point that if I looked at Carrie and said, hey, I want to start doing a diet, she was ready. As soon when I walked up and said, hey, I want to start this, she was on board. Whatever you want to do, let's do it. Let's get it done. Because she knew we needed to do it. And she was waiting for me to say it, or she was waiting, she was probably on the other side going, I should just start too, so get started right now. Tell somebody you're doing it. Let me know you're doing it, and update me on how you're doing. And I will be back on Anthony says, glad Carrie has your back. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's I know it's difficult for some people or a lot of people that when you're trying to make these changes and you don't have support from your spouse, or you it's not it's sometimes you just don't hit it at the same time. Like there was so many times that I would be losing weight and Carrie would be gaining weight, or Carrie would be losing weight and I would be gaining weight, or I hit my goal weight while she was pregnant and then she had the kids, and so it's tough for both people to be on the same page at the same time. But me and Carrie got on the same page with this, and we were sticking to it. Yes, she is very appreciated, and I know that a big part of my success is having her at home making me baked falafels with tzatziki sauce. And I'm going to go home and I'm going to say, oh my God, it was wonderful. Just like your haircut looks amazing. Right? Anyways, I'm going to get out of here, guys. Thanks for checking out my broadcast. I'll be back on Friday.